Hi everyone, this is Ding Dong and welcome to my channel. In this video, I would like to introduce you the MBA admission process of INSEAD. The MBA program of INSEAD is ranked the first regarding Bloomberg Businessweek International MBA ranking in 2017 and also the best according to Financial Times Global MBA ranking in 2016 and also 2017. I want to explain to you how I built up my MBA application package entirely by myself and how I get in touch with the alumni who gave me a lot of advices and a lot of tips on preparing the MBA admission process. So to include the entire process in one video is a bit long, and that's why I cut it into 4 different episodes. The first one will be focused on telling you how to choose your target school, the preparation of GMAT and language exams, as well as the importance of doing a self-reflection before starting your preparation. The second episode will introduce you how to get in touch with the alumni and also how to target your referees, and as well as the tips to prepare the application essay. The third one will be focused on preparing the video interviews as well as the alumni interviews, whereas the fourth one, which is the last, will tell you how to prepare the scholarship application and also the final admission call. This video is the first episode. To adapt with your need, you can find the timestamp of this video. If you are interested at one specific part, you can go directly to that part. And so let's start together for the beginning of your MBA application preparation. Before starting the preparation, you need to have a clear plan of the school that you want to apply and the application timeline. Nearly all the decent business schools organize their on-campus events, off-campus coffee chat, and online webinars. By registering to one or several events, you can gather more insight of the school from the dean of MBA program, from the admission officers, and from the alumni participants. By attending several events, I eliminated some schools that I think won't be suitable with my personality or what I want to do in the future. And thanks to the in-house event of INSEAD, I made the decision to choose it as my target school and got more familiar with its work hard, play hard culture. And after you have the wanting of several MBA programs, you can now start to dig into their website in order to note the important application deadlines, and that's for you to prepare your application timeline. For my side, I decided to pursue an MBA in 2019, and my plan was to first apply to my dream school, INSEAD, to its January intake. And if I was not lucky enough to get admitted, I will still have opportunity to apply to American business schools because they all start in September. And in that way, I can maximize my chance to move on to an MBA stage in my life. And if you miss actually the deadline of your dream school, you can whether to put off to an admission round, which means less opportunity, or you can compromise to another business school, which might not be your dream school, or you can wait for an entire year. And that's the reason why having a clear timeline of your application is really important. After setting up your target school and knowing the important deadlines, it is right now the time for you to prepare the necessities of your application, those exams. If English is your mother tongue, then the school asks you to speak fluently a second language and you have to provide a valid proof of that language. If you are not a native English speaker, then the school will ask you to provide a valid exam proof of your English level. They accept exams such as TOEFL, TOEIC, IELTS, and PTE. I passed TOEFL, and the school suggests you to get at least 105. I think for IELTS it's 7.5. 2 of the alumni told me that the suggested scores by the school are actually eliminator. In another word, if they suggest you to get at least 105 and you unfortunately got 104, it is better that you go back home, study more, and get better and repass the exams. I know one person who get accepted with 104 on TOEFL, but in the meantime, he has a really great GMAT score and a quite high GPA. So again, the school, they evaluate each candidate with the entire package. If you have a weaker part on one profile, it is better that you strengthen some other part of your profile to be competitive with some other candidates who are as brilliant or even more brilliant than who you are. Uploading a GMAT score is mandatory for applying INSEAD. There's a separate playlist in my channel where I explain to you my experience to score 720 on GMAT exam, so I won't elaborate too much in this video. If you're interested at this subject, please click the card on the top. Be aware that it is always better that you start as early as you can and be realistic about yourself. A GMAT score is valid for 5 years, and most of the English language scores are valid for 2 years. It is better that you pass those exams in order to save time and save energy to be concentrated on your essay preparation. Writing the essay while preparing those exams is possible but hard. You have more chance to be bad at both than to be great at each. Each business school has their own focus on admission and characteristics. For INSEAD, they have 4 admission criteria: able to contribute, international motivation, leadership potential, and academic capacity. You should already know the information during the first step, choosing your target school. Well, I think self-reflection allows me to know myself better. Excuse me, I was joking because I think it sounds like a psychologist, isn't it, when I talk like that? Well, let's go back to the topic. So the self-reflection allows you to find out the unique part in your traits, to provide examples to prove those traits, and to orient your distinctions to the characteristics of the school. Briefly speaking, in a business context, to apply to an MBA, it's like you sell a product yourself to the admission officer of the school. So you have to know your strengths in order to avoid those weaknesses. You have to also know the core reason and the rationale behind your choice to be persuasive enough. To illustrate this idea and the importance of self-reflection, I would like to provide you 2 examples. Those are the questions that I found in the essay question of different MBA program. One question from INSEAD. Give a candid description of yourself. Who are you as a person? Strengthening the personal characteristics you feel to be your strengths and weaknesses, and the main factors which have influenced your personal development. Giving examples when necessary, 500 words. The second example from, it is the question from Stanford Graduate School of Business. What matters most to you and why? 750 words. Even the 2 questions were presented in different way. Behind these questions, the school would like to know who you are as a person and what made you came to be the person you are today. You could present your experience, your insight, and the path that shape your perspective and personal development. You can only provide convincing answers after a deep self-examination. For me, I started my self-reflection by writing a timeline of my life, starting from primary school till my current work, and those important changes were highlighted to be later developed with the reason that I made those choices. Let me give you an example. One of my important milestones is I decided to stay in France to work instead of going back to my hometown in China. So I will write this experience down and list the reasons that I chose to stay in France. After you list all the reasons of your important milestones, it is right now the time to choose what are the reasons that you would like to present to the school. And of course, those reasons which link directly with the admission criteria, you should absolutely present them. Let's go back to the previous example. Why I chose to stay in France to work instead of going back to my hometown in China. Since the admission criteria of INSEAD is international motivation, so 2 of the reasons that I will choose to present to the school will be, first, I would like to have more exposure on French culture under a professional context. And second, I would like to develop an international experience. Isn't it make sense? Well, if you have more questions regarding this topic, you can write down in the comment box. I will read it carefully and reply you. A small summary of how to prepare your MBA application, episode 1. Start from choosing your target school and writing down the timetable of your entire application process. Then pass the exams as soon as you can in order to save energy for preparing the essay. And third, do a self-reflection. In the next episode, we will talk about how to target your colleague or manager to ask for a reference letter, how to contact the alumni and build up the relationship, and how to write the application essay. If you think today's video is helpful, please click like and follow my channel. And see you in the next episode. Bye!